Novel Idea, Slipway Msasani, Yacht Club Road, Msasani Peninsula, The Book Cave, Mbezi Rainbow, Social Club, Ara Museum Offices, Ikunda Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Mhunda, House of Wisdom, Mezzanine nambari 22, NHC House, Samora Avenue, Dar es Salaam, MacBooks and Brains, Mlimani City Mall, duka nambari 44, Dar es Salaam, TPH Books, barabara ya Samora, Elite Bookstore, Mbezi njia panda Goba, Mlimani Bookshop, Kariakoo mtaa wa Sikukuu na Lindi. Timiza malengo, Ubungo Kona, Chuo Kikuu. Bookmart Online Shop, Instagram, Bookmart TZ, Twitter, Bookmart1. Jamani Investment Limited, Nyerere Road, Airport Terminal 2. Shinyanga, Kahama Bookshop Center, mtaa wa Lumerezi. Arusha, Kase Bookstore, mtaa wa Sekei. A Novel Idea, TFA Center, Arusha, Tanzania. Dodoma, Lugarawa Bookshop, Dodoma mjini, barabara ya 8. Moshi, Ape Bookshop, Moshi mjini. Christian Bookshop, Moshi mjini.
Wahi nakala yako sasa kwenye duka lolote lililopo karibu nawe.
In Capital News tonight, 3 people sentenced to life in prison for burning down a Catholic church. Nurses do not return to work despite President Kenyatta's directive to do so. Youngest coach says Boban and Banka will enhance the team's attack. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. A court has found 3 people guilty in Kagera region and sentenced them to life imprisonment after they're found to be responsible for burning down a Roman Catholic church in Kanazi Ward, Bukoba District Council, as well as destroying property that was within the church. The ruling was handed by the resident magistrate of Bukoba, Resident Magistrate Court John Kapokoro, after he was satisfied with the evidence provided. Those convicted, Rashid Mzee Athumani, Gisela Joseph and Aliu Dauda, were facing various charges, including the alleged involvement in incidents of slitting people's throats in Kagera, whereby they were recently found guilty of the allegations and sentenced to death.
Today was the day for sentencing. All 3 suspects have been sentenced to life imprisonment. The 3 suspects on 30th October 2015 at night, they burnt a church which caused a lot of damage to property. We are satisfied with the sentence given. I ask witnesses to always come forward. As you can see now, peace has been restored in Kagera.
The Chief Justice of Tanzania, Professor Ibrahim Juma, has called upon judges in the country to ensure that they discharge their duties in an ethical manner. Chief Justice Ibrahim Juma noted that judges must ensure that all Tanzanians are shown their rights and that all cases should be completed on schedule. The Chief Justice made this call when opening a 3-week training exercise for the 17 new High Court judges.
One area which I have stressed is important for the judges to always consider is ethics. With regards to ethics, I urge the judges to always bear in mind that if they carry out their duties in an ethical manner, then this will help to build the confidence of Tanzanians in the judiciary. In addition, I have reminded them about the importance of finishing their cases on schedule. Finally, I also advise them to quickly get familiar with information and communication technologies, otherwise known as ICTs, so that the judiciary in Tanzania can finally enter the 21st century.
Farmers of cashew nuts in Mkindani Town, Mkindani Ward in Mtwara region, who've been determined to have dormant bank accounts and have been required to revive them, have asked the government to ensure that they pay them quickly. However, some farmers who had dormant accounts and have claimed to renew their accounts 1 month ago say their payments have yet to be deposited.
I went to verify my account and I was told that it was dormant. So I went to activate it and deposited some money. This was in December, but up to now I've not received anything. I asked the government to sort this out, as very soon we shall begin weeding. Verification has been done to a large extent, except for the 39 people who have not come forward. Anyone who hasn't done so and had his account verified must give the reason why. After receiving advice from all stakeholders, from the union, district commissioner, members and other district commissioners, this matter will now be addressed with great efficiency. Payment must be done on time.
Two people who are each estimated to be between 21 years to 30 years old have drowned in a dam in Kadoto village, Mwalukwa ward in Shinyanga district, whose water levels were much too high.
One of us was drowning. We came and tried to rescue him, but he started pulling us down. So we had to get out, but one of us stayed on and they both drowned. After they had breakfast, they decided to go and wash at the dam. One fell into the dam, and as they tried to rescue him, the victim and one rescuer both drowned. We were notified about a group of men who were farming but decided to go and wash. That's when two of them drowned in the dam.
Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court has set February 19th of this year as the day when the sentencing will be done in a case of economic sabotage that 3 defendants, who include a Chinese citizen, Yang Fen Glan, 66 years of age, are facing. Glan, whose nickname is the Ivory Queen, and her fellow suspects are being charged with involvement in the poaching of elephant tusks, which are collectively worth 13 billion shillings. The sentence had initially meant to be given on February 15th of this year, but the Chief Resident Magistrate, Huruma Shahidi, who had been presiding over the case, has still yet to finish writing her sentence. Magistrate Shahidi said that there are still a few things which she has got to prepare that in the sentence, and thus she's planned next Tuesday as the day she will give her sentence. Initially, the state prosecutor, Wankyo Simon, with the assistance of his fellow lawyer Salim Msemo, claimed that the case has now arrived at a stage for sentencing and that they are ready for it. Following that explanation, Magistrate Shahidi said she would provide her sentence on February of the 19th, and as a result of that, the defendants were sent back to remand custody. Apart from Glan, the other suspects in this case are Salvius Matembo and Philemon Manasseh, who will both be represented by Nehemiah Nkoko and Hassan Kiangio. In the case, the suspects are being accused of committing their crimes between January the 1st of 2000 and May the 22nd of 2014. In the first charge against them, the suspects during the period noted allegedly engaged in poaching of 706 pieces of elephant tusks, which together weighed 1,889 kilograms and were collectively worth 5.4 billion shillings. A team of 8 ministers have called upon the residents of Ngomo in Malinyi district, Morogoro region, to be peaceful and calm, as well as to avoid any land conflict between farmers and livestock keepers while they continue to wait for a decision from higher authorities concerning the land conflict that has been affecting their village.
na kazi ambayo sisi tunaenda kumshauri Mheshimiwa Rais.
We want troublemakers, those likely to bring their cattle to graze in the river and other people's farms. You must address this amongst yourselves as we go to find solutions. Remember that we also have certain expectations from you. We want to protect our water sources, rivers, and the environment, and we are not interested in conflict. There is a dam that you were promised for fish, of which construction will begin in May. I ask everyone to be calm, let there not be conflict of any kind.
The Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has directed the private sector to invest in Kiswahili by ensuring that it grows, it is developed and protected so that Tanzania can benefit more from the language. The Vice President said this during the Swahili Literary Awards, giving a ceremony for Literary Africa that took place in Dar es Salaam, where she added that investment in Kiswahili will bring about the development of our businesses as well as the nation as a whole.
This company has been along for a long time, and it cares for its own interest, but that of the nation too. I commend you for investing part of your profit in the communities surrounding you. We've achieved so much, although we may face some difficulties on how to do that. The three of us are working on a voluntary basis. No one is on payroll. A journalist can come from anywhere, but on one condition, that he speaks Swahili. This is a motivation for everyone to learn to speak Kiswahili in order to enter into the competition. We are grateful that the criteria has been expanded. This means that more will keep learning and to use Kiswahili. Our language is our economy, it is our identity. Winning this prize is great. It shows in 10 years I've done well, that my contribution has been valued.
And that is all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, despite President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Governor's Council in Kenya's directive to nurses who are on strike for not being paid their bonuses as well as not being promoted to return to work or be fired, the nurses have not returned to work. The government has thus said that the nurses will be disciplined for not following the Labour Court directive that directed them to halt the strike for 60 days to make way for reconciliation.
All nurses should resume duty.
All nurses should resume duty with effect and in any case not later than Friday 15th February 2019 at 8 a.m. Secondly, the Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, I have instructed the National Police Service to take stern action. This country is governed by laws and these laws must be respected and followed. The court has ordered nurses to return to work for 60 days. On Saturday, there is going to be a joint meeting between all parties, including nurses, Governor's Council, and Ministry of Health, to find solution to nurses' grievances, and within 7 days, a file report will be sent to court.
The Parliament of Burundi has approved a bill as well as launched a special court on land conflict. The Minister of Legal Affairs who delivered the bill in Parliament said that the court will go towards helping to resolve land conflict which has been prominent within the country.
It is important for land conflict cases that were filed for Burundi citizens who are within and outside the country be recognized. It is wise to find solutions to this conflict so that we can maintain unity in the country. It is essential to have a referral office at the court so as to give opportunity for those who think justice was not served at primary court level. This decision will reduce misunderstandings.
The long-time opposer of the government of Uganda is also the leader of the opposition party with significant power. That's the Forum for Democracy Change. Dr. Kiza Besigye has announced that he is forming tactics to remove from office the current president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
That Mr. Museveni is fraudulently sitting on a chair.
We state that Mr. Museveni is fraudulently sitting on a chair that does not belong to him, and we shall remove him from office. The procedures of removing him from office are underway. No one will stop these efforts. 2019 is the year of action.
Calm has been restored in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, after police fired shots in Beni requesting their salaries as they had not been paid for 2 months.
There has been delays of police officers' salaries, which made them speculate that somebody must have jeopardized their financial right. While on the process of finding out towards what is going on, unfortunately, one of the police officers released some gunshots in the air. When we heard the gunshots, people got terrified and began running carelessly. I got hurt on my legs and hands.
Still in the DRC, followers of Lucha as well as residents of Rangoma in Beni who lost their families in the clashes have held protests to demand for a new president as they are tired of the lack of safety.
We are tired of seeing our relatives and friends being killed like animals.
The Munich Security Conference began earlier today. Security gatherings of the world. Every year, powerful global leaders gather in Munich to discuss peace as well as diplomacy. But the conference is not just a show of power. A few days ago, we discussed the Munich Security Report, which was released ahead of this conference. And Thomas Sparrow, our Deutsche Welle correspondent, joins us again with more on this conference. Thomas, first off, let's talk about the conference. How important is it and who are the key players?
It's a pleasure to be with you again, and this time not from Berlin, where we normally do our cross, but from the southern German city of Munich, where the conference is taking place. You already mentioned some of the key details of that conference, but this is described as the largest security conference in the world. According to the information that we have here in Munich, there will be around 35 heads of state and of government. There will be about 80 defense or foreign ministers and about 600 security experts, and they will be discussing some of the key crises around the world. We're talking about very particular crises in very particular regions. We will go, for example, into Africa in a minute, but also they will be discussing about the Middle East, about other aspects in particular, about global problems like arms trade or cybersecurity, or different elements as well like climate change and how that affects security around the world. The organizers in that report that you mentioned, they stressed that we're seeing not only various crises in the world, but also an era of increased competition between, for example, the great powers, the United States, China and Russia, as well as a vacuum in leadership internationally, which has been affected in particular by Donald Trump and his presidency in the United States. So as you can see, there's really a lot here at stake in Munich, a lot for leaders to discuss. There won't be a communique at the end. That's not the goal of the Munich Security Conference, to try and have a communique at the end where they talk about consensus. The goal of the Munich Security Conference is to offer a platform for dialogue, and that is precisely what we're going to see here in the next couple of days.
Thomas, last year the Security Conference featured prominent African leaders as well as African topics. What topics in relation to Africa will be discussed this year?
There will be a big relation to Africa, just like last year there was also a big relation to Africa, and we're expecting also African leaders from different countries, also from the African Union, to be in attendance. There will be a panel as well discussing some of the key challenges in Africa and the Sahel region, which, as you know, or according at least to the report, some of the most vulnerable countries in the world. It was described in that report as African arc of instability. So you can imagine that they will be discussing a lot of security problems there, in particular, for example, organized crime or the presence of different groups in the region, or also other issues that are related to the situation in the Sahel region. We're not expecting, again, any specific consensus at the end. The goal is to bring those leaders together in order to discuss, on the one hand, what is happening in the Sahel, why, for example, we're talking about those vulnerable countries, and second, what can be done to address the challenges, and not only internationally, but also from a very African perspective, bearing into mind the needs of Africans in those respective countries, and then again the international perspective, because one of the key elements that they mentioned, the organizers, is that yes, it is a regional problem, but it could have spillover effects as well if people, for example, decide to leave their countries of origin and go somewhere else, for example, some European countries.
You've mentioned that one of the key things that this conference does, it talks about a lot of different issues, not just in Europe or in the United States or in Asia, but globally. Are resolutions usually made as well as implemented in this conference?
No, there are no resolutions normally implemented. The goal, and that's, by the way, something that the leader of this organization, the leader of this conference, veteran diplomat Wolfgang Ischinger, has clearly stated on various occasions, they do not produce a communique in the end, because that is not the goal of this. Other forums in the world do produce communiques. That's their specific goal at the end of the conference. But what leaders are trying to do here, and what the organizers want to offer, is a platform for them to discuss these issues. They can do this in two forms. One, through the official program, in other words, through the panels and the speeches that they are going to be giving in the next few days. And second, there are also plenty of back-channel communication, plenty of discussions on the sidelines of the event, not only with the press, but also privately, where some of the delegations that are here will meet and will try to discuss some of the issues that are particularly important for them. So from this perspective, what the forum offers, what this conference offers, is precisely that platform for them to discuss. Whether some of the issues could come to a solution in a few years, then obviously the organizers would see that as a positive sign. But the whole idea of this is precisely to offer a platform for discussion.
Thank you very much, Thomas. We hope that these discussions do end up bearing fruit in the long run. And until then, we'll leave you in Munich, and goodbye. And that is all for international news. Do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and on to business news. Tanzania Bureau of Standards, TBS, has burned down 4.5 tons of goods that come from steel. This includes padlocks as well as spoons that were imported into the country by Dar Steel Company after being discovered to be of not the required level of standards.
We have destroyed the goods because they don't have standards that are needed at Tanzanian markets. For example, this imported product, it came like earth road, but from standard tests, it is 90% less than the required standards. It has just been plated copper, and that the product is mere steel.
Tanzania Trade Development Authority TanTrade has told entrepreneurs to determine opportunities by identifying various goods needed in foreign markets so that they can go along with quality level and amount of goods, a move that will enable them to conduct business internationally as well as speed up economic development.
Products needed at international markets must be of large quantity. There are some products whose production capacity is minimal. This shows that first, we must boost productions and maintain good quality to our products. Most small entrepreneurs have neither identities nor licenses. However, the manager has pledged to follow up on these key issues.
Farmers of maize and legumes from regions in the north have said that have been getting a loss each year from the crop due to climate change and have thus asked experts to visit them as well as advise them on what to do so that they can benefit from the crop.
As farmers, we do face losses in farms during rain seasons. Flood sweeps away our crops. From the knowledge that we received, I'm sure we'll one way or another support many farmers in the country. This new technology is going to combat these challenges, including maintain moisture on lands for a long time.
That's all for business. Sports is next.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda.
What's up? My name is Sean Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip, the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette.
I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette.
With Sebastian.
With Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
And in sports, Young Africans head coach Mwini Zahera says the presence of Haruna Moshi, Boban and Mohamed Banka will enhance his team's attack in tomorrow's Dar Derby against Simba compared to the first round meeting between the two.
There is Haruna and Mohamed Isa, and so I think tomorrow we will play differently because the squad is getting tougher. We are well in physique, and this will change our way of play. The system we will use tomorrow will change because we have good physiques. Tomorrow we won't be afraid. We will go out there and play.
The Premier League last team, Lyon, have done their last training prior to their next game against Simba on the 19th of February in Arusha.
Our team is not in a good position, according to the results. After our last game, we were one position up, but after yesterday's games, we went back to the bottom. So we need the 3 points, and we will get them from anyone who will play against us. So it doesn't matter if it will be Simba, it doesn't matter if it will be Yanga, or Azam, or Biashara, because we still have 12 games, including this one against Simba.
Barcelona manager Ernesto Valverde signed a one-year contract extension. Here is more on this story.
Our team is not in a good position, according to the results. After our last game, we were one position up, but after yesterday's games, we went back to the bottom. So we need the 3 points, and we will get them from anyone who will play against us. So it doesn't matter if it will be Simba, it doesn't matter if it will be Yanga, or Azam, or Biashara, because we still have 12 games, including this one against Simba.
The
The 55-year-old Spaniard also has the option of a further year, which would see him remain in charge until the end of the 2020-21 season. The former Barcelona forward replaced Luis Enrique in May 2017 and won La Liga and the Copa del Rey in his first season in charge. Barca are currently top of the league on 51 points, 6 points clear of rivals Real Madrid. Valverde, whose contract was due to expire at the end of the season, has led the side to 65 wins in his 96 matches in charge, drawing 22 and losing just 9.
Ferrari have unveiled the car that they hope will have a decade-long Formula One title drought in 2019.
At least as many times as their rivals after a series of errors by Sebastian Vettel and the team. New team boss Mattia Binotto said the car was a development of last year's, not a revolution. The team had tried to raise the bar, tried to be as extreme as they could. Vettel was joined in the team by Charles Leclerc in his second Formula One season. I'm looking forward to this year. The team is on the right path and hopefully we can continue improving, said Vettel.
Manchester City will suffer against Newport in Saturday's FA Cup 5th round tie, says boss Pep Guardiola.
The Premier League champions travel to South Wales, knowing their opponents have already beaten Leicester and Middlesbrough in the competition. League 2 Newport have never been past the 5th round of the competition, while City are 5-time winners. They are taller and stronger than us in some areas, they'll be better than us, warned Guardiola.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to prepare this bulletin for you, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching. Good night and have a great weekend.